What's going on, YouTube? So, today I want to talk about something that I haven't really talked about before, and it's creating YouTube content. Me personally, as I told you before, I don't like making videos, but here I am. So with that being said, just do it. You know, I kick myself in the butt every day for not doing this earlier. Hang on, I'm looking for my coffee. I don't know what I did with it. Ah. Aha. Coffee. And a Boba Fett mug. So, anyway. YouTube content. Just do it. I can't believe the years that I've wasted. The things that I've done. The knowledge that I've gained. That I haven't started doing this before. And it shocks me at... Now, by no means is this easy. Obviously, everybody thinks that, or I shouldn't say everybody, most people think that you're just talking into a camera and that's it. But most of the time you are. But coming up with content to actually create. You're talking to a camera, but you're not talking to a camera. You're talking to everybody that is watching this video. And thank you, by the way. You have to put yourself out there for this to work. You don't need expensive gear. You don't need all that. The only thing that you really need is you, a camera, and some lights. That's it. The content that you create is you. Now, with that being said, you have to add value to the people that you're talking to. So, obviously, if you've watched the 7 videos I have up, from the first one till now, they've gotten a lot better over a small time span. And that's mostly due to the fact that I hate to say this, but I watch YouTube. I mean, let's be honest, everybody watches YouTube. Everybody watches YouTube to learn different aspects of what they're doing. You know, where to position lights, how to position lights. I mean, the list is endless of the things that you can do on YouTube. So you can learn how to rebuild a car on YouTube. Depending on who you're listening to, it may or may not work out so well. But that's what we're here to talk about. When you're creating content, this is from your experience, which is my experience at this given point in time. Now, there's a couple things that I really want to touch on. And it's not gear, it's not anything else. It's the simple things. So, the number one thing that you need is one of these and one of these. Put your ideas in here. This is where it all starts. Let me stop banging on that now. Now, everybody has an idea. They do. Everybody does. Some people act on it, some people don't. But what you do, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You can make the worst YouTube video in the world. But you know what the difference between you and the person that didn't do it is? You did it. Welcome to the club. I never thought I'd make a YouTube video. I really didn't. I dreaded the day of doing this. And my wife and I were talking one day, and she just asked me, why don't you just do it? And to think that it's just that simple. Creating YouTube videos. It's mind-boggling that if it's the best YouTube video with the best transitions and slow-mo video, B-roll in between, it doesn't matter. You made a video. You know, the great thing about starting somewhere is that in reality you can only progress. And when you progress, it becomes a lot of fun because you get to play with everything. You know, in this right here, it's my Canon 80D, and this is usually what I shoot most of my YouTube videos on. I love this camera, comes in handy, it's lightweight. I have a 28 by 135 that goes on here. This is a crop frame, so you gotta take that into account. 1.6 times whatever the millimeters you're shooting at is. But beyond that, this thing has done me really well. It's a borderline professional camera that's an APS-C. And, you know, there's more expensive cameras out there, but the thing that I have to say is it's done me well. You know, the craziest thing about anything is to just do it. That's the number one rule about anything. And I had a friend of mine teach me this a long, long time ago. If you don't like it, do more of it. It's amazing how fast you get used to something. Now, with that being said, we're going to go to our handy dandy notebook. So, the number one rule of making YouTube is write your ideas down. I have a bunch of them. Some of them are great. Some of the things are just bad. But you know, the funny thing is, somebody somewhere hopefully will find value in what you're talking about. Because, you know, out of the millions of YouTube videos that I've watched, and, you know, Peter McKinnon, Manny Ortiz, I mean, these guys are banging out YouTube videos like crazy. But you never hear them knock on anybody. You're doing it. These are professional videographers. And they're just happy that you're doing it. You know, Peter McKinnon has a thing that he does where he edits other people's photos. But man, I mean, the guy is as humble as anybody I've ever met. Manny Ortiz is the same way. Now let that sink in. You know, I'm a professional photographer, and I just started my let me rephrase it. I started my business last year. I've done photography for a long time, but I went legitimate. And let me tell you, it was scary. But the worst part is this scared me more than that. For no reason. Create content is all about you being comfortable with what you're talking about. If once you get past being out of your own element, adding value is pretty easy. I have a saying, and actually I have a coaster. Let me grab this for you real quick. You're going to love this. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if we can get in there. This is my one favorite thing in the world. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. As I said in another video, this is the end of my comfort zone. Taking photos all day. I can knock a photo out of a park. Taking a video, I'm getting better at it, but man, let me tell you, it was nerve-wracking the first couple times. I was goofy, but it was me. If you have something to add value to somebody else's life, no matter what it is, do it. You think at the end of the day, even if you help one person, just one, that's well worth it in the end. You could have 10 subscribers or 1 billion. But imagine, let's go with a different route here. When I first started really looking into creating my own business, I must have watched 1,000 YouTube videos of every photographer I could find, every videographer I could find. I knew I could do it, but sometimes you don't really know. You keep doubting yourself. You keep thinking that, what if? The worst part about what if, it can come or it can't. But what are you going to do? Now, these are my opinions on what I think. Obviously, people will agree with me or not. But that's the whole key to everything that we're doing here, is you might have a different opinion of how to approach it, but the idea is still the same. If you don't take the first step forward, are you really moving? Anyway, I'm not going to take up any of y'all's more time. These are my opinions of what I think with creating YouTube content that you can do. The number one thing that I want to leave y'all with, have fun. If I can't tell you anything else, that's number one, have fun. Other than that, I will see you all in the next one. Subscribe, like. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. Have a good night.